Shalom. So we're continuing our learning of the 39 Malachot, and we're up to Borer. Now, there are three major rules to remember in Borer that are ways to separate things with permission on Shabbat. So the three rules are miyad, biyad, ochel mipasolet. That is, you have to separate using your hands and not a special implement, a colander, a sifter, something like that. Miyad, that it has to be for immediate use. Right before the meal, within half an hour, something like that, straight before you're about to use it. And the big rule, you have to take the good from the bad, and not the bad from the good. Because you have to take what you want and leave the bad stuff there, and not pull out the bad stuff and throw it away. So all this only applies when you actually have a mixture. But if you don't have a mixture, there's nothing to worry about. So if on the table you have the salt, pepper, and the salt and the pepper, and they're sitting there one next to the other, and you just pick up the salt to go and put it away for this afternoon, that's really not borer, because the salt shaker sitting on the same table as the pepper shaker doesn't create a mixture. It's only when we have a mixture do we have to worry about the laws of miyad, biyad, and ochel pasolet, the laws of borer. What's considered a mixture? That is a great question. When is it considered a mixture? So the Aruch HaShulchan, one of the great rabbis at the end of the 1800s, the beginning of the 1900s, gives a wonderful definition. And he says that it depends on two factors, size and number. He says if you have things that are very small, then it doesn't take many of them to make a mixture. And at the same token, if you have things that are very big, but you have a lot of them, then you have a mixture. So imagine if you have in a bowl one banana, one orange, and one peach, 3 pieces of fruit in a bowl, probably doesn't create a mixture because they're so big, it's so easy to define them, so easy to see them. On the other hand, if you had a huge box with 20 or 30 oranges, 50 bananas, and 27 peaches, and they were all mixed together in a big box, that would probably be borer. So my rabbi and teacher Rav Henkin gave a wonderful definition. He says it depends if do you have to examine closely before you take in order to make sure you don't get the wrong thing. If you have to examine and pay attention, then there's probably an issue of borer. And let's finish by saying, so what do we do if Friday night we've done the washing up and we have in that nice container by the sink all the knives and forks and spoons and the little ones for dessert, and they're all mixed together. And now, Friday night, before we want to go to sleep, we want to set the table for Shabbos morning. Well, we're going to use our hands. We're going to take the good from the bad, but it's not immediate use because it's only going to be used for Shabbos lunch. So therefore we have an issue of borer. Do we have a mixture? Well, if there are a lot of cutlery and they're close together, we've probably got a mixture. Some people might say that if there wasn't a lot of cutlery, especially if they were big and different from each other, there might not be a difference. But in that case, probably if you have a lot of table settings there, a lot of silverware, there's probably a mixture. So you've got a problem. So one way you could do it is you could set the whole table and just leave the cutlery for just before you're about to sit down for lunch, after you come home from shul, then set the table. The third option is you could take all the cutlery and spread them out on the table. Then each piece is in its individual separate, and we don't have a mixture anymore. And now we can take whichever one we want, just like our salt and pepper shaker at the beginning of our class. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Bye.